Good afternoon, and call to order the GCC regular board meeting, September the 12th, 2023, a little after 4:52 p.m. Roll call. Mark Anderson. Absent. Absent. Mr. Harry Block.
Here.
Mr. Bruce Mandrick.
Absent.
Absent. Mr. Jack Turner.
Present.
And Lily Campbell. Present. 3 board members present. And now that we are here, welcome everyone. It is so good and great to see so many people here tonight. Thank you so much for being with us in person, and to those of you who are with us virtually. We welcome you and we're so glad to see you. We're here for an exciting evening and we're looking forward to our board meeting. So, do we have any public comments? No public comments. Thank you. And so with that, we are ready for the superintendent's update. Are you ready for it?
I think I'm ready. So,
All right.
good evening, everyone, and to our board members, Madam President, members of the board. Welcome once again to our board meeting. So I want to start off by first affirming our community engagement team, Aisha Britt, Sergey Terekov, Maury Elliott, for their fantastic job of hosting the 11th annual GCC Foundation Golf Tournament. I do believe that deserves a big round of applause. Together with their efforts and the efforts of all of our sponsors, as well as those who attended, we raised over $25,000 for our students.
Wow.
So I also want to thank President Campbell and Mr. Anderson and Mr. Block for attending and supporting this wonderful event. So thank you so much for that. It was a fun event. It was very exciting. Yeah, you'll see some of the pictures there of our dad. I think that's our president, Ms. Campbell, winning something.
I paid my money.
Not that there's any picture evidence of such.
Paid my money.
But really, definitely excited.
Sunday.
So this week, if you are so inclined to check out your podcasting things, Wendy York Devoit interviewed myself and Dr. McCormick for the Lead, Teach, and Learn Unlock 360 podcast. It was very exciting to be a part of this podcast. We discussed how GCC invests in our educators and fosters a unique family culture, while really looking to grow from within. So really was a wonderful opportunity to share our message beyond and kind of have some outreach there. Yesterday, the cabinet team, we met with Lyle Kirkman, who was in town for our coaching session, where we once again are looking at ways that we continue to build our team and our kind of team dynamics. And so really was happy about the time that we spent with author and coach Lyle Kirkman. Also, I want to let the board know I've recently been appointed to the statewide associations board, California Charter Schools Association. So I'm excited to have this wonderful opportunity and represent the GCC on a statewide level with our other charter leaders across the state. Just want to share just a few things. As you know, we recently unveiled on our website and other places our portrait of a GCC graduate. And so we have been actively sharing this framework with everyone that will listen, quite honestly, but within the GCC community. Last week, I had the opportunity to be interviewed on COA's School and Family radio program, where during the broadcast, I had the opportunity once again to discuss the portrait of a GCC graduate and really our vision for the GCC moving forward. And so I want to thank COA for that invitation and the opportunity to share. In addition, our portrait of a GCC graduate was featured in the Education Trends and Insights section of Comstock magazine, and you have that article in your binders. It's a one-pager, but I do really feel that it captured a lot of what we're trying to accomplish by integrating academics, equity, and social emotional learning for our students. So really proud of that work. I want to take this opportunity to affirm Julia Jimenez Yamamoto, our communication specialist, for her work to make this a reality and working hand in hand with the Comstock team on this project. So thank you, Julia. Just as we have moved into the season, we've beginning to complete our final back to school nights. Our schools have successfully concluded their back to school nights. Parents learned a lot and about the curriculum, classroom procedures, and teacher expectations. Want to again affirm all of our administrators for putting on some phenomenal events that were very welcoming and engaging are our priorities for our parents and community. Finally, I want to share of a upcoming event that I'm extremely excited about, and at some point we'll have a board presentation probably to talk about it, but I got to tell you ahead, it's our GCC Con. So Dr. Gold and her team have been hard at work preparing for our GCC Con, which the theme is
Learn, lead, and level up.
there we go. Learn, lead, and level up. This event will be 8 to 12:30 on Monday, October the 9th at the Rancho Del Paso campus. And what's exciting about this is it's really led by our staff. So it's not outsiders coming in teaching, it's our staff doing that. So very excited about that. Finally, tonight, I'm really excited and I'll get ready to introduce the administrators and bring the two students up. Tonight, as part of my report, we have a student presentation that we'll be doing. And one of the things that board we're looking at to do is to, one, continue to foster more student connection and student voice within the work that we're doing as a governance team. But it's also, you know, when I conducted the student focus groups, one of the most special parts was hearing from our students about what they expected from education. So we will add this as one of the things to a few of our board meetings a couple of times a year of having a student presentation. So tonight, I would like to invite a student report that's going to come from Kai and Princess Jackson, who are students at Saba. And I think they'll tell you a little bit more about themselves when they come up, but I have to say this about Princess. So Princess, so last spring when we did our, when I had the opportunity to do my superintendent's focus groups with our students, Princess was one of the students. And again, a very talented, capable young lady who she brought it that day. She brought us information. She said, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to work it. I'm like, yes, ma'am. So very proud of Princess, and I'm looking forward to hearing both Kai and Princess share tonight. So Princess. Yeah.
Good evening, President Campbell, board members, superintendent samples, and executive cabinet. My name is Todd Baker. I am a 12th grader at Saba Tennis.
My name is Princess Osborne. I am a 12th grader at Saba Sim Center. And an interesting fact about me is I'm a second generation Saba student. My mom is also a Saba graduate.
Mom, Madam President, wants you to stand.
To start, I want to highlight Saba's visions for its students. Saba is an increasing rigor in courses and student expectations and is making sure students are prepared after high school for either a four-year college or to go into the workforce. After my graduation this year, I plan to continue at Sac City for 2 years and then study nursing at a four-year college. Next, I would like to share with you some of Saba's achievements as the year has just started. In the last school year, 63 students were CTE completers. Last winter, our basketball team won the championship. The Wall Street Journal interviewed Saba electric vehicle students for an upcoming story. And recently, medical courses are being offered in this program. I am myself a computer in the culinary arts program. Through my culinary classes, I have grown to have a family with other students, and also now I am capable to cook for myself and my family with better recipes. I have learned life skills about food safety and planning that I will use throughout my lifetime.
Saba student activities. Here at Saba, we offer several different athletic opportunities. First, starting with this year, high school is having fall indoor soccer for the first time. and middle school is having flag football for the first time. Other than them two sports, Saba also offers a basketball team that I was able to be a part of last season. And that was a good thing for me because I was able to help my teammates and be a part of a team where at first, we wasn't looking very promising at our first practice. And somehow we won the championship all together, and we lost one game doing it. Saba student clubs. Here at Saba offers a lot of different student clubs, starting with gardening, music, art, parenting, leadership, GSA, esports, and music appreciation, etc. Gardening club. This club is starting a floral subscription. Proceeds will go towards a club, trip, or activity. Please consider purchasing a floral subscription. Here's the flyer. For community outreach, Saba offers orientations and back-to-school nights. For student engagements, there's CTEs, field trips, and lunches with directors. This year, the first Saba field trip, our students from the public safety pathway visited the Sacramento District Attorney Forensic Practice. For community engagement, Saba offers a lot of different opportunities, starting with 9th grade, having freshmen starting strong, seniors having senior check-in night. For families, they have winter resource night. For transfer students, they have student transfer night. For student engagement, they have cultural fairs, and school site council is offered on every campus. Saba upcoming events. On September 13th, middle school is having a back-to-school night. On September 13th through the 14th, there's soccer trial. On September 15th, we have in the Thomas Mexican Independence Festival. On September 27th, we have freshmen starting strong night. On October 11th, we have education workforce convention. And on December 13th, we have the winter resource fair.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. I want to know exactly how do you feel about Saba? Anyone can answer that question. How do you feel about Saba? Not from your paper, but
Go ahead.
Saba, me personally, I started Saba 7th grade year. I've been there all the way up to now, and I feel that for me, Saba helped me a lot because I needed the more one-on-one and I needed to be able to get more help. So with Saba, I have one teacher that teaches almost all subjects, but we also have live classes if online doesn't work for you, and that works for me. So I have, right now, my last year, I'm taking 2 classes at Sac City, and I'm also taking integrated math 3 through our new thing called Cloud Academy. And it's very helpful. If I need help, we have tutoring. And like I said, I just get the one-on-one with my teacher that I need, especially when I need other help. I'm not talked down about it. Nobody judges me. The help is always available.
that's what I wanted to hear.
For me, Saba was a very good find from my mom because my 9th grade year, I was at a public school called the Thomas High School. And my first year, my freshman year, I flunked. I didn't do good.
Mhm.
And so my mom found Saba, and there was instant change in my grades. From the first semester, I had all A's and B's. So from the first semester at Saba to now, my last year at Saba, it's been a great, it's just been a great time, and it's been a great opportunity for me. And I'm happy that I did find Saba because it definitely improved my grades.
You guys almost making tears come to the because Saba is one of my special programs that I talk about you all the time. If it were not for Saba, where would many of our students be? And I am so thankful to hear the clarity in what you're bringing and what Saba has done for you. And it does make me feel good that I'm sitting here on this board and you're saying what you do. Thank you. Yes,
I just want to say what a wonderful presentation from both of you. I know how difficult it is to stand up and here and make that, but those statements and really talk about your experience. So I just want to say welcome and congratulations.
You know, I just want to say it's great to have you both here. And I walked in, I looked down, I said, he looks familiar to me, but I'm sure I met him somewhere. But I knew he was a basketball player. Great to have all these things because I'm an average golfer, you know, I play golf all the time. Don't tell anybody. But I would like to see you play golf, but that's okay. Thank you for coming.
thank you so much, you guys, yes.
I also want to add thank you to all of you guys for listening. And thank you to all the teachers for giving me this opportunity. And thank you for all the teachers that helped me throughout my 12 years.
You guys.
Thank you both to Kai and Princess for kind of being our first inaugural student speakers to the board. Really appreciate and proud of both of you. I did tell Kai that I would go out and hoop with them. You know, we'll see who wins. Recordings. Definitely proud of both of these two young people and looking forward to them doing great things beyond the GCC. So thank you.
And thank you, parents, for being here, and particularly to our soccer parents like that. We really appreciate what you're doing for your children.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you guys too.
So much.
Cause I was like, oh my God, public school was just not for him at all. And when he came and saw it, I was surprised, like, what is this real? Like, what happened? Like a whole turnaround 360 with him. Like, and I tell all my friends that be having trouble with it, I'm like, take them to soccer, take them to soccer. So yes, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I know that both of you probably have homework and things, so you don't have to stay for the whole board meeting, but you're more than welcome to, but.
You may go. You may go. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, staff, for being here with us. We didn't recognize.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Omira.
Hi. Thank you guys so much.
Love you.
Appreciate it.
We're looking to see good things in you. Thank you.
That's a young man, not boys.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, Madam President, that is the report.
I gotta get it back together. I gotta get it back together. All right, here are we. Do we have a study session? No study session. No review. Oh, it's down to consent agenda items. We're not yet, almost, but not quite. We need to approve the consent agenda items, and for our guests, I will read them. The consent agenda items are adoption of GCC board minutes 8/29/23, personnel consent agenda, purchases over 30,000. Resolution to reallocate income for fiscal year 2022 and 23. That's our special ed allocation. Adoption of the GCC blueprint for excellence. And I think we've all seen that, and we had a chance to look at it and talk about it. Think about it. Oh, did I miss something? Oh, superintendent's employment agreement agenda 23-24. My goodness, how did I miss that? And disposal and surplus technology. So that's, yeah, that's it. Okay, those are the consent agenda items. I sure need a motion.
I move approval.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Anderson. Absent. Mr. Block.
Yeah.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Lola Campbell, yes. Approved unanimous by the board members that are present. Okay, and now for the vacant. We are ready for our 2022-2023 unaudited actuals. So with that, you want to bring them in?
Yes, so, again, board, we're happy to have our chief business official, so Maya Reyna, who is here to, and I'm quite sure she will, introduce her team, to present our unaudited actuals. Definitely want to affirm Myra and her team for their, hard work on this, and the work that they do every day to ensure that we are fiscally sound. So, Myra, welcome.
Thank you. Superintendent Sample, President Campbell, and trustees Block and Kern. I will be presenting the unaudited actuals, but before I do so, I want to introduce my team. If you guys could please stand up. This is the budget team, so. It takes a lot of work to get this done. They have really tight deadlines. So I'll start with our Director of Fiscal Services or Business Services, Valerie Rogers. Our two supervisors, Yvonne Gracer and Lillian Matu. And then our new lead analyst, this is their now second board meeting, Cindy and Drew. Yep. Okay, yes. Hey, just a little background and purpose of what our unaudited actuals are. This is our final numbers. This is not a budget, so our other presentations that we go through the year are budget numbers. These are actual, so these are actual payments, actual revenue postings. This is how we ended the year. And at this point, they're unaudited, which means our auditors still have to come in and audit our financials. It shows our revenue, our expenses, and then a statement of financial position. It's required to be submitted to our oversight district. We have currently four. We have four. We have five. Five oversight districts, and then we work with 2 county offices of education, and then it all goes to the California Department of Education. We're going to go ahead and start with our revenue. So the chart on the right shows you your unaudited actuals, your estimated actuals, which was your last approved budget. So the first column is your actuals, like what happened. The second column is what we last budgeted, and then the third column is the variance of what these two numbers are. And then I'm just going to explain the changes between the two. So for our LCFF sources, the biggest change in those two numbers were P288 corrections. So we did find tune those numbers. We do have independent study schools that have corrections all the way through the end. As you know, those are schools that are turning in assignments to try to get credit for those days. And so we do have some small adjustments that we have to make to the ADA. And then also we reconcile prior year LCFF adjustments. So that's what that number reflects. For our federal revenue, we estimated more. We kind of went conservative on our estimated actuals on our ESSER funding. So we don't want to completely draw those numbers down to the point where we're gonna be the other way, right? Where we're gonna overspend our budget. So the 826 is mainly made up of ESSER funding, and that rolls over to the next year. So that's pretty much what the savings is on that category. For our state revenue, the increase is due to the change for estimated actuals. We did not have our final numbers of what the two block grants, the art, music, and instructional materials block grant and the learning recovery emergency block grant. Those were going back and forth with legislation. The governor, there was different proposals on the table. At the end of the day, we got more money. And so 1.3 and 3 million are part of those. So basically 4.3 is made up of increases in those two block grants. The other 500,000 is due to prior year adjustments in lottery, so we've been getting more revenue in that category, so that's what those numbers reflect. For local revenue, we do year-end reconciliations on E-rate, the investment account, so there was an uptick on those two, from estimated to adopted. And then also our interest Q4 came in a little bit higher, so we have those three components. And for MTSS, we also got 120,000 new year award, so we did get MTSS money last year. This year we got another grant of 120 just for COA, so that is the reporting of those components. And this is just a pie chart to show you kind of where our money lies, and based on a percentage standpoint, 2/3 of it is our LCFF revenue, right? So that's our primary means of sustaining our operating expenses. The second biggest group here is our other state. Those are always going to be our largest components, right? We do get a little bit of federal, and obviously that's a little bit higher than usual because of all the ESSER funding we receive. So that number will probably shrink next year. So just kind of give you a visual of what we're looking at. And now going on to the expenditures. Our certificated classified salaries both had savings. Actually, we have savings on all the categories. But the classified and certificated salaries were mainly hourly positions that did not materialize. Those are really hard to pinpoint, you know, usually on position control, people that have FTEs, we can estimate what they're gonna work. Hourly fluctuates. And so that's a little bit harder to pin, especially with summer school. That was happening before estimated actions. We were trying to kind of guess what that number would be. We're glad to say that we have some savings there. For the benefit component, obviously those are correlated with the certificated and classified salaries. So if you have a decrease or savings in salaries, you're gonna have a decrease also in benefits, right? They're correlated. We also saw some savings in the health and welfare component. For books and supplies, we have savings in textbooks, instructional materials, and other non-capital equipment. A lot of these savings were in the ELOP budgets and lottery, which are both programs that roll over to the future to the next year. And so those can be utilized for future year expenditures. Services and other operating expenditures. Savings are primarily made up of the ELOP component or the ELOP program. As you know, we hire vendors through ELOP, and this is just some savings that we're seeing in that component, in that category. So we left enough money for them to be able to operate their summer school, and this is the result. We have some savings. For capital outlay, we estimated construction costs savings of about 508,000. These are projects that are just not completed, right? We encumber these expenditures. Most of these come to you for board approval because they're over 30,000. They get just rolled over to the following year because of completion dates. So there's always delays in construction. So we will see those materialize in the 23-24 year. Other outgo is our loan payments for the RDP campus, and those are basically just rounding differences. So that's interest and principal, other outgo. Here's the pie chart of the expenditures. I just want to point out there's about 63% of salary and benefits. So just wanted to give you an idea of how much is spent on people. So about 2/3 is spent on people. And the rest is spent on operating, expenses and supplies. What I do want to point out is that in the service and other operating expenses, we have programs that are not utilized with staff. For example, our technology department primarily is, we pay Twin Rivers to service our technology, which is partly why that number is so large, right? You have transportation, districts have transportation departments. We don't have that, right? And so that's gonna pull away from your staffing and that percentage of that 63, because we're paying vendors to be able to transport our kids, we're paying Michael's transportation, we're paying roadblock, right? Unless we hire bus drivers and we open the whole program up into transportation, our services and other operating expenses are always gonna be a little larger, right? We also have to pay oversight fees for our oversight districts, right? Our LEAs, we have to pay 1% of our revenue to them. So that comes out of that category. So there's a lot of things that are kind of embedded in that service and other operating components, right? The other things that come out of there is scoot, right? So if we had the teachers that we have vacancies for, then they would be hitting the salary component, right? And so just kind of keep that in mind as we continue to look at these pie charts. Okay. This slide is a little busy, but it's just the P&Ls of each individual site. This was actually a recommendation to be added by our Director of Business Services, Ms. Valerie Rogers. So it just basically gives you a split by site on where we are. So the first 3 lines is just your revenue, current year revenue, minus your current year expenditures, gives you your net increase. We had net increases for all, for the exception of Saba, Sac City, and that's because they were finishing that expansion, that wing, right? So there was a lot of construction costs that we already had budgeted and anticipated. Right, you have your beginning balances, which is your ending balance from the 21-22 school year, right? So that's your beginning balance. Your ending balance is just gonna be your net increase plus your beginning balance. Right, that's gonna be your ending balance, and then there's designations, right? The restricted is gonna be all the pieces that, all the restricted programs, right? So the ELOP, right now, currently, it says it's 17.6, 3.5 of that is ELOP. Right, 11.5 of that, part of that 17 is the 2 block grants, right? Because we haven't started to really spend down those block grants. They're gonna be rolled over to the following year. That's just to give you some example of what's in that restricted line. The non-spendables is gonna be your revolving cash checking account that we have on hand in all our prepaids. So a lot of the times we have expenditures that come in May and June for the future year. So we gotta account for those because they want payment. We will either need to register somebody or we have to, it's usually a service that we have to pay. And that's not gonna materialize until the following year. So we have to account for those that way. The next 3 in yellow are our different reserves that we have. So we have a facility reserve, we have a sustainability reserve, and an economic uncertainty. So economic uncertainty is 3 to 5%. I do 5% across all our sites, so 5% is mandated. The sustainability reserve, that's 10%, so we keep 10% in case we need any efficient, any emergency, that always, we're trying to keep that always there. And then the facility reserve, as you know, we've talked about different projects that we want to be able to materialize at sites and execute at sites. Those dollars would be utilized for that. So just wanted to give you a break from each individual site so you can see the difference between all 9. Here is a summary of that last page. So you have your beginning balance minus your increase, decrease, your ending fund balance. we increased 9.9 from estimated actual, so I think we had like 16 million that it was gonna increase on our estimated actuals, and it ended up being 26, so. That's just gonna hit, our fund balance, and then the components of the fund balance are right on the chart right below. So, again, just reiterating the 1.5 million of non-spendables, and then our different set-asides that we have. And then the ending balance, that's how we tie back to that. And I've already kind of talked about the different categories in our previous slides, so I won't read those to you. Okay, some of our next steps is that we're gonna start, we just jumped off on audited actuals, and we're not 100% done because we have auditors coming in October, so we're gonna start prepping. We've already started prepping. And continue to work on getting all the items to our auditors, which are Gilbert and Associates, to get ready for that. We're also gonna start prepping for budget meetings that start in October. And we have started working on distribution of carryover. We'll be working with figuring out what other site needs there is. Creating site plans for programs we don't have plans for yet. Doing an MYP or multi-year projection overview with sites to see what impact they'll have for their next year. And in December, we'll be back to present our first year. So, that is it. I will entertain any questions.
Yes.
Again, just, I truly understand you and your staff and the amount of work that goes into the very insightful budget presentation, very informative. So I want to say thank you for that. I just need to point out the eternal cycle of preparing school budgets. They no sooner finish this one than they're starting in
Yes.
the first interim budget in
Yes.
December, which we're going to be doing again. Just if I could emphasize a number of things that she pointed out that I think are really for those of us that look at these budgets, and I know sometimes people's eyes kind of glaze over. But if you look at the revenue component, I remember when the federal component was 1 or 2% of a budget. And if you look at that 10%, which is probably in a short order, it's going to go back down to 1 or 2% of the budget. I think that is one of the things we, as she points out, that we probably need to really take a look at. And well, I know we're aware of it. I just know that it's going to be a little difficult when you have to make that up with local revenue. The other thing is the components. If you look at the expenditure components, if you just add up this, it is 63%. I really appreciate you saying it's more than that. Because most school districts now are spending probably very close, if not over 90% of their budget on staffing. When you add up certificated, classified, and the benefits, and it's just not workable. And we're fortunate in that we, through obviously good budget planning, have really been able to really make a budget that's workable and gives us some flexibility. I probably could spend another 10 minutes talking about how nice it is to know that we had a 6% variance and the positive side, which again, I've said in budget meetings over the years where it's not usually a variance on the positive side, it's usually a variance where it maybe is negative because of uncertainties. And we've been able to plan and have a cushion on that. Again, this is really a big deal, and you get to start all over again.
Yay.
It is a big deal. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate the profit loss statement by site, because when I was going through my budget, the information you sent to us and all of the pages of the schools and what have you, and then you said, but I'm kind of glazed over. But this is the capsule, and it's really nice just to look down and see the schools and go across. So thank you for that. And again, I want to thank you and your staff for a comprehensive report. And easy to read and to understand. So thank you very, very much for this information. And now it's time to get busy for the next one.
Yes, and we do it all for some of the testimonies that we just got earlier, so
Yeah,
that keeps us motivated. I'm sure, you know, that my team is excited to get back and do it all over again, because it matters to students, like the ones that just came up, to make sure that they have the resources and the materials and everything else that they need to be able to be successful.
that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So thank
Thank
you
you.
again. Thank you. All of you sitting out there, thank you so much. And I appreciate the fact that principals, other administrators, other staff are here, so you can see exactly where the funds are going and what we're trying to do with it. And that's really a blessing in itself, because you can't say, well, the money is not there, or the money is there and they're hiding money. You see yourself what is happening with the funds that we get and how it is allocated. So thank you for being here with that. Thank you.
Again, Madam President, I would like to again take this opportunity just to affirm Elmira and her entire team for all of their work, because as much as they are working on budgets, they're still managing to pay the bills, get payroll out, and deal with a number of other things. So I definitely want to affirm Elmira and her entire team for their work.
All right. Okay, we have to have action on that. You will need a motion in a second.
I move approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Second, any other discussion on the items? Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Block,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes,
Lily Campbell, yes. So the actual audit has been approved by those that are present. Thank you again with our accommodation. Thank you. All right. So with that, we are now down to board comments. Any board comments? Mr. Turner? Anything you want to say? Yes.
I understand they're going to investigate you renting 2 baskets of.
I did not win 2 baskets. My husband paid his $20 and he won one. I paid my $20 and I won one. But I sure was glad to get it though. Say what?
I got you back in slowly.
Thank you. Would you please tell them that it was done? I was helping you.
$30 in my
So not those part of it too.
I guess I must comment on how wonderful those student presentations were
Oh.
in Sava on building your future. That is just, it was moving, and
Very
I think that's for those of you that are at the school sites and so forth, that's a reason we're here, is to have those stories. I know probably 90% of everything does not, you don't get that positive feedback, but just that one time is enough to say it's all worthwhile.
Yes. And it was very moving and very inspirational, and we want to see more of that. It was just very delightful. And to have the parents with them and whatever, and staff. Thank you guys so much. You are doing a yeoman's job, and that's why you're there. Thank you. All right, and I thoroughly had myself a good time at the golf tournament. It was fun being with all of you guys, and just it's kind of relaxing day. Miss Joy did a great job driving us around. Although we got stuck in one time, we had to have somebody to help us out.
I didn't know how to remove the parking brake from the.
But it was a great day, fun day. If you've never been, if there's any way you can make it the next one, it is a great day. Thank you, Miss Melissa, Miss Aisha. I see you. Mr. Maury, all of you guys, they worked hard by the time I got there at 7:30, everything was set up, so you had to been there most of the night, getting it ready. It was really a great day, so that's all we can say. And we're looking forward to more events and visiting schools and sharing on the great things that are happening. So thank you all. Because if it were not for you people sitting out there, we couldn't do what we do over here. You're the reason why we're here, so thank you. Can't say it enough. Sounds kind of sappy, but that's how I feel. Thank you. All right, we're down to, next board meeting,
September 26th.
September the 26th. They're coming quickly. 26, yeah, okay. All right, anything else for the good of the organization tonight? Anyone? Anything
No,
else?
Madam President, staff's happy.
All right, well, with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. So moved. Second, all in favor?
Ah.
Aye.